Welcome back, Nick Lenz. Comic Corner Classics, that's non-classic. This is episode number 972 in Doubleshot number 866. I have one Marvel trade, one DC trade. The Marvel trade, I'm covering Deadpool, Volume 8, Operation Annihilate. You're thinking, okay, Deadpool Volume 8. Okay, which one of the like 5 volumes this is covered? This is from volume 2 of the series, the one I started back in 2008. Yep, and this covers issues 32, 39, and volume 1, number 4. Yep. This is written by now the volume 2 issue is written by Danny Way. The Deadpool volume 1, the first issue of the first volume, that's done by Joe Kelly. Who actually was the writer for Spider-Man Deadpool. Yep. He was the writer for that series. He was very popular. He's, from what I've heard, I've read the first volume. He wrote a good majority of it, and it is really good. Now the keys to these issues, it's basically just Deadpool doing whatever the heck he wants, and also fighting the Hulk. Yep, it also features the first time he fought the Hulk, which was in Deadpool number 4 back in the 90s. Yeah, that's pretty much all that happens in here. Basically just does whatever the heck he wants, and it's just freaking Deadpool. Not much else to say about this. It's just pretty good. Yeah, fun set of issues all heading up with Taskmaster, Bob Age of Hydra, and that's really much it. The arc itself has got 2 artists on it. The first issue of this arc is done by Sheldon Bailey, who also is the inker for this art for the first issue. Then for the remaining 3 issues in here, from Deadpool Volume 2, that's done by Bongo Dazo. And again, this does the artwork for Deadpool Volume 1. The cover art of this thing is, well, I think that's from, they don't really say, but I think it's from him. Let me take a look here, see if I can find the cover here. That's not it. I mean, 37 is basically the back cover. Now, what about 30? What about this one? What's the cover for the trade? The cover for trade, I think it's 39. Yes, I believe it is 39. Yeah, I believe it's 39. But not much else to say about this. It's really good. It's just fun. That's basically what this is. It's just fun. And that's one thing I enjoy about Danny Way's work. He makes the work basically fun. Get this book a 9 out of 10. Not much to talk about with this particular volume. Because it's really short. Because it's only just 4 issues. I'm like, really? That's it? Yeah, nothing really big, noteworthy. Aside from the fact Deadpool has a rematch with the Hulk. And he shoots him. Yeah, and by the way, the image is basically Deadpool putting a grenade in Hulk's mouth and Hulk exploding, of course. That was also used for Hulk vs. Wolverine. Yeah, Deadpool showed up there, voiced by Nolan North. Yep. Alright, next up is something a little more interesting. I put that there first because Deadpool is more familiar with than this one is. Okay, this is something that people are only familiar with this name thanks to the 2015 miniseries that were originally supposed to be 12 issues, but was cut down to 6 due to low sales. Yep. As far as I know, the last 7 issues that were solicited have never been released. And the last issue came out for this thing, well, the volume for this one basically came out in 2015, I think it was. This is Prez, the first team president. Yep. This is basically about the original Prez, one who's a guy, not a girl, in the miniseries, who also showed up in the Catwoman Election Night one-shot. This is a guy named Prez Richardson. He's basically named Prez is short for president. And it's never explicitly explained, like, unlike in the 2015 series, where the woman who becomes president in that series, she's elected via Twitter. Yep, Twitter. Yep, and I should point out, though, that the writing in here is done by a legendary writer. I mean, yeah, this is done by, I think it's, let's see if I can find the right page here. Yeah, okay, let's see here. Of course, it has that 70s style of basically banner art. Yep. Let's see if I can find it here. This is done by Joe Simon and Jerry Gurnelli. Now, those who try to ask, like, who is Joe Simon? As in Simon and Schuster. Well, not Simon Schuster. Basically, yeah, he's one of the co-creators of Superman. He also created the Spectre, the Guardian. Oh yeah, and also he worked with Jack Kirby on here. Yeah, I think Jack Kirby drew some issues here. No, he didn't. Basically, the other people working on it was Cary Bates, who just did the other book that's in here, along with Neil Gaiman, Ed Brubaker, Frank Miller, and Grant Morrison. Here are the issues actually in this trade. The issues in here are Prez Volume 1, which was 4 issues, Cancel Comic Clavique number 2, basically the story that was supposed to be issue 5, Supergirl Volume 1 number 10, which is the final issue of the first volume of the series, Sandman Volume 2 issue 54, Perez number 1, Dark Knight going through 3, though it's basically just a few pages, and Multiversity Guidebook number 1. Yeah, these issues come out in the years of 73, 74, 78, 93, 95, 2001, 2002, and 2015. Now, Joe Simon just does the initial 4 issues of Prez. And I believe he does also Constant Comic Clavic, and Cary Bates does the Supergirl issue. Neil Gaiman does Sandman, obviously. Ed Brubaker, he does the Vertigo Prez one-shot. Yep, he does that. Now, as in the case of Grant Morrison, he writes the guidebook thing, which is basically, it's not the entire guidebook per se, it's just you have this image here and like just a profile page. And that's it. That's all you get from the guidebook. Yeah, apparently Perez is basically on Earth 47. Yep, that's all you get from the guidebook. That's one page. Because that's what the guidebook is. Basically, it's a profile book. Now, Perez himself does basically whatever heck he wants. He's the president, and we also have politicians here written like regular politicians. Basically, they don't like what the president's doing. They try to stop him any way, shape, or form. And they also have in the Salmon issue, they also have Richard Nixon show up. Yeah, apparently when these issues came out, Richard Nixon was... Now, I should point out, though, in the years of 1973... I think it was 1973. Was it 72? In 73, 74, those who are curious, though, who was President of the United States during that particular year? Why, it was Richard Nixon. A guy who was popular when he started, and he was controversial after the Vietnam. Yep, thanks to Vietnam, and of course, something called Watergate. Yes, Watergate. Happened in the very same in 74, which was actually just 2 years after he got reelected to his second term, and his rest of his term was filled up by Gerald Ford, and then the rest of the decade was basically ran by Jimmy Carter, and then eventually the next decade started with the popular Ronald Reagan. Yep. Now, Prez is elected normally how Prez is elected, be Electoral College. And he's a pretty okay president, though for some reason the artist thought it'd be a good idea to have a Native American in the White House in very stereotypical Indian garb. I'm like, really? Was this necessary? Though it's the 70s, basically throwing some racism, why not? Though I should point out, though, in the 70s, from what I've heard, the racism was seriously dying down. We also have this guy called Mr. Smiley. Yep, he appears in all 4. He appears in some of the series. He also appears in the Vertigo one-shot. Here's our stereotypical Native American. Yes. Feather in his hair, pants, shirtless. Yeah, from what I heard, Native Americans did not dress like this all the frickin' time. That was made up because of American Western movies. Yep. Yeah, but as for why this series ended in 74, I have no idea why the series was ended. Possibly due to low sales, but yeah, I don't really know. It's particularly very bizarre. It's never specifically explained. Now, the series was released bi-monthly. Yep, it was. Kent's Comic Clavicle was probably supposed to be issue 5, but it got canned. But yeah, the Kansas Comic Clavicle thing was simply put a 2-issue miniseries that's basically taking these books that are supposed to be released, these unpublished books, and putting these 2 one-shots. And it's also in the one shot. You also have the first issue. It was supposed to be a fiction ongoing series. Excuse me. That Jerry Conway wrote this first issue, and it was canceled before the issue came out. Yep. The Sandman issue is simply kind of how Perez got out of the presidency, though it also a recap of the original series. The Prez one shot kind of does the same thing, though it's done by Brubaker. Very well, mind you. Now, what about Dark Knight Returns? Well, Dark Knight Strikes Again. Yes, the thing with this is that it's a select few pages that features him in the book. He apparently is a holographic image used by Lex Luthor. Yep, that's simply what he is. But this is still pretty good. I do recommend if people are curious. If you're fans of Joe Simon, I do recommend checking this out. If you're a fan of, if you like if you're a fan of Brubaker, definitely check this out because, why not? Yep, but I do recommend people who are curious about this. I mean, I kind of knew about this. I mean, people when they see this word Perez and they think of DC Comics, they think, oh, you mean the 2015 series? No, this is well before that, roughly about 40 years before that. So, yeah, it's interesting though. This guy did not make many appearances over the course of his 40-year career, 40 years being around. Yeah, this book contains all the guy's appearances. Yep. Now the Supergirl issue, which I should point out, this was the last. I believe this. Yeah, this was the last issue of the first volume of Supergirl, because the first time Supergirl ended after only 10 issues. Yep, it did. Possibly those sales. I don't know. I've never met Carrie Bates, so if I ever get a chance to meet Carrie Bates, I will ask my question: why did Supergirl Volume 1 end? Who knows? But this is still really good. Give this book roughly a 9 out of 10. Pretty good. Yep. Yeah, I know that Dark Knight Returns is noteworthy for its artwork, but yeah. But the same issue, I kind of reviewed already thanks to reviewing the trade that collects it. But the Vertigo one shot for Perez, that was actually really, really good. Berger did a good job with it. Though that was during a period of time when he was working for DC. Yeah. Also the same period of time, that's when they released the Batman, the Man Who Laughs one shot. Yep. A one shot named after the film that serves the inspiration for the Joker. The Joker does not show up in here at all. As a matter of fact, something is supposed to take place kind of in DC Universe. The only superhero he ever encounters is Supergirl. I'm like, really? Oh yeah, he also encounters Neil Gaiman's Sandman in the Sam one shot, where also Mr. Smiley pops up in there too. And he also encounters Neil Gaiman's version of Death, a beautiful goth woman. And that's it. That's all he pretty much encounters throughout his entire career. He never meets Batman. He meets any other superhero aside from, Supergirl. Yep. Though, I think it takes place on Earth 1. I don't know. It's odd. They never officially confirmed it here. It's possibly Earth 1 because it's the 70s. Earth 1, obviously. Can't be Earth 2. Yep. Because Earth 1 actually progressed with times. Earth 2 was stuck in World War II for years up until Crisis on Infinite Earths. Yep. So yeah, that's it for this particular review. Stay tuned for tomorrow for my reviews of the newest episode of Black Clover, along with the newest chapter of the manga, the newest episode of Fairy Tail, and the newest episode of One Punch Man. Yep. We'll do this next view. Bye.